truth docile. That's why we on the corner crying aloud, looking hostile. Isupk style, can't stop now. Father's warfare couldn't last one round. Let the oppressed rise, and let the rich mourn till the sundown. Enough with this shit, I'm about to make it hot, call it compound. This for my niggas, put the guns in the drugs down. Dwelling in peace till the Lord call for the blood. Hey, try to decide my death and got beside yourself. Swore drawn for what you perform. How you gon' hide yourself? Devil got to die for his lies and his dreams. Ain't got no love for the practice. Nah, just cruel intentions. And in my father's house is spinning mansions. I got plenty bitches. Worthy of vengeance. This your death sentence. I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise and fill the world with lies and die for your skin. You gon' die for your crime. That's why I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Your life. Try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear. Till the devil's that the end is still. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah. Now they shook from vicious words out this handed book. About to take these rappers back to school. My flow sand and hook. They crossed the line, ain't no coming back. You became no cowards. The only thing sweet is the honey check. Righteous is the Lord. Give me rest from my sorrow. And hand down death for them devils. There's no tomorrow. Why? Cause they violence leave a man a stiff corpse. You see a flag in a bench, I see horns in a pitchfork. Go ahead. So please believe it. The white man is a demon. And I ain't gon' vote with him to free me. No. They beat us till we the color purple. That's why this knife to they throat like ceiling. You got this nigga on his knees. They wanna have peace. You screaming, let this bitch burn at 1,000 degrees. I'm laying in the bosom of revenge. I told her I'd do anything she pleased as I squeeze on the double D's. Fuck you mean? I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise and fill the world with lies and die for your skin. You gon' die for your crime. That's why I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Your life. Try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear. Till the devils that the end is still. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah.
The police just shot him for no apparent reason. No reason at all. They asked for life.
Most High in Christ. All right. Let's see. Make sure audio is to Wob. Should lock you. Okay. Most High in Christ. We good to go. All right, clap it up. Hey, shalom. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah Baraka Tha to all the brothers. Yahweh Shamar Allah Tha Bashim Yahweh Shah to all the sisters. Whoops. My phone. Okay. It's the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Jillian Hanna. All right. Teaching the truth of the Bible since 1969. Right? The so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Jews according to the Bible. Right? You understand? And furthermore, that the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. Right? All in accordance with the reality of historical facts, okay? And in that process, as blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, getting back to our culture. You understand? So let's get a couple of scriptures. So for today's class, so like, of course, this is the Lashawan Qadash class, Friday night Hebrew class, you might call it, right? Lashawan Qadash is just, is what we call it in the language. Lashawan meaning language or tongue. Qadash, a word meaning holy. The word holy is simply means set apart or separate, right? So it's the set apart language or the holy language, the holy tongue, right? Today, of course, we're going to review our alphabet as per usual. We kind of, over the past few weeks, I wouldn't say we got held back, but we had to, just kind of slow it down a little bit to kind of introduce some more basic concepts for some new brothers and sisters that might have came into the class. And we're going to continue with that. We're going to always build on the basics, but we're going to do more possessors, prepositions, and pronouns because we got some more to fully have almost a complete list of possessives that we're going to use, right? And then, as I promised, body parts and colors. We are going to do that, all right? But first and foremost, I always like to start out with some scriptures. If anybody has any questions of any kind, please just type them into the chat. You know what I'm saying? And we'll, you know what I mean? If I can answer it, that's exactly what I'll do. If I cannot, we'll just save the question for another time when I, you know what I'm saying, have a brother in the next class answer it for you if we can get the breakdown, all right? But in the meantime, John Azar, give me Isaiah 1 and 3. You see if that's the one I want first. I do want you to give me the prologue to Ecclesiasticus as well. Okay. Well, let's get that one first.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
Right. This is what we've been reading a lot because as Black people, we don't really, because of slavery, because of our condition in this place, and also because of our own hard-headedness, so to speak, within the scriptures, we've always had this issue. We want to be everybody else. We want to love everybody else. We had today in the radio show, me and Captain Yagarwap talked about it. Like, no matter what happens, somehow it always has to come back to forgiving everyone else, loving everyone else, being attached to everyone else. Ahmaud Arbery's father, now imagine this is your father, said after his son was murdered and those three men got convicted and officially, you know what I'm saying, they're going to jail, right? He said all life matter, not just Black children. Like, as if this is the time to say that, as if it has any relevance. You understand? It goes to show you just how much of slaves we are. Like, we can't even mourn our children without and not be honest and be like, yeah, they keep killing Black babies and Black kids and Black, like, just, you can't just say that. You got to throw, well, everybody's not so bad. You got to throw that in there. Go ahead, Yanazo, you had something.
You know, he also said that at the end of, his little speech, he said that we all have to work together. We're all in this together.
Right.
We have to work together to make America better. That's what he said. You know what I'm saying? And, the general was saying that, this is the mentality that has been imposed upon us.
Right.
Where we can't even love our own people without having to include somebody else in the mix, man.
Exactly. Right? And you wonder why we get killed in the streets. You wonder why our babies are growing up fatherless, why our households are the way they are, why our little brothers and sisters are getting molested. You understand? You wonder why that's the case, because we give all of the little bit of love we got, we can't give it all to Black people. We can't care enough about Black people. We got to involve somebody else. By Black people, I mean Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We have to find a way to take it away from them, the people who need it most, and give it to somebody else. Well, in ISUPK, under Commander General Yohana, we make it our mission to give Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians every single ounce of our love, all of it. I don't have enough love for nobody else. I don't have it. I got it all for Black people because they're the ones who need it. And that's God's chosen people. Finish reading from the top.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 3.
Make sure you write these scriptures down. Go ahead.
The ox knoweth his owner,
The ox knows his owner. Go ahead.
and the ass his master's crib.
And the ass his master's crib. Let's not get silly. I know you the word ass is in the Bible, right? It just means a donkey, right? His master's crib. As we broke down last week, what does it mean? It just means, right? These are two, you could say, dumb animals. Dumb meaning that they just kind of follow, that's what they do. They're not very independent. They're not very bright or resourceful, cunning, clever animals. Some animals are very cunning and very clever. You know what I'm saying? A chimpanzee, you put him in a room for a little while, he can figure out like a puzzle and like put the ball in the right shape, and they can learn things like that. You know what I'm saying? A donkey cannot do that. An ox or a cow cannot do that. These are two dumb animals. But it says even the ox knows his owner, and even the ass or the donkey knows his master's crib. Go ahead.
But Israel.
But who?
But Israel.
But who?
Israel.
But Israel. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. It gotta be, because go ahead.
Doth not know.
Israel doesn't know. So how could it be? How could the people who claim to be the real Jews, how could they be the real Jews when the Bible just said that Israel, they don't know. They don't know their master. They don't know where home is. You understand? The ox knows his owner, the ass is master's crib, but Israel, what?
Doth not know.
Israel doesn't even know where they come from. You understand? That's heavy right there. Israel doesn't even know where they come from. Go ahead.
My people.
Wait, hold up now. Wait a minute now, Yanazar. You just said something heavy right there. It said Israel does not consider. Go ahead.
My people.
Now, God called Israel what?
My people.
I thought God loved everybody.
Sir.
I thought everybody was God's people. No, read it again from the top, Yanazar. I think he said the people of earth don't know.
The ox knoweth his owner.
We got the ox. Go ahead.
And the ass his master's crib.
The donkey, we got him. Yeah, go ahead.
But Israel.
But who?
But Israel.
No, the whole earth.
But Israel.
Every human being on planet earth.
Israel.
But Israel, go ahead.
Doth not know.
They don't know their master's crib. They don't know their owner. Go ahead.
My people.
Israel is God's people. Sorry, Christians. No, you twat. Sorry, Christians. I know you never heard these scriptures. But God said that Israel was what?
My people.
Go ahead.
Doth not consider.
My people doth not consider. Now you see why the Lord said in Zephaniah 2:1, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired, before the decree bring forth, right? Before the Lord's anger come upon us. He's mad. His children don't even know who their father is. His people don't even know where they come from. They running around talking about they Muslim, talking about they Christian, talking about they this and they that. They from here and they from that. Where you from? I'm from San Antonio, right? You might be from San Antonio, but okay, before that, what's your nationality? Oh, I'm black. What country is black? I'm African American. What in the hell is that? Where the hell is Africa America? Go ahead, Yanazar.
If I may, and these people, especially Christians, they have the Bible. They claim to know the Bible, and they know in the Bible every nation is named after a man, their father. Every nation. But they don't consider. That's what it means. Man.
Right. They do not consider. Right. And we don't blame our people. We love our brothers and sisters, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We love our brothers and sisters. That's why we do what we do. Right. We go out to them camps and we risk what? We risk being ridiculed, spit on, attacked. You know what I'm saying? Brother, get up there. Who knows? His boss might walk right past. He loses his job. It's happened before. It's straight up happened before. Brothers have literally gone to camp and someone from their job saw them at camp and they lost their job. You understand? Brothers have been kicked out of different things that they might do or whatever. Some, I remember a story. One time, one brother, a high-ranking brother, I think it was his son, was in like a martial arts. You know what I'm saying? Like he was taking classes. And he had, like I don't know if he had a black belt, but he was close. And he had been there for a while. And I think they saw him or heard or knew that he was affiliated with the ISUPK, and they kicked him out the school. You know what I'm saying? These are the risks that these brothers take, and these sisters too. These sisters got these husbands, man, and they people know they affiliated with the ISUPK and change their whole tune. But we do what we do. Why? Because God loves blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And no one's going to tell them that. No one's willing to do it and tell them who they truly are. Any more on that, Yanazor? Come on, give me Isaiah 3 and 12. Let me see what that one says.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12. As for my people.
Here we go again. As for what?
My people.
Go ahead.
Children are their oppressors.
Right. Now, of course, this is a scripture talking more about our oppressive state, how we live in America in these last days or throughout the earth. But again, the Lord called them what from the top?
As for my people.
The Lord called them my people. When you read my people in the Bible, God is talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He's talking about Israelites. It's not talking about everybody else. Everybody is not God's people. You understand? You can actually drop that. Now give me the one I want in Ecclesiasticus. Real fast before we get right into this Hebrew. All right. We're going to get into this Hebrew. All right. Alphabet review. Then we're going to get into these words and these these possessives, prepositions and pronouns, right? See how we speak this language. All right. Can I go ahead and read that, bro?
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, the prologue.
It's prologue to the book of Ecclesiasticus, right?
It says
it's in the Apocrypha. All right, the Apocrypha. I didn't bring my bag, so I don't have mine. Huh? It's lucky. So the Apocrypha was what? It was several books that were what? Removed from the King James Bible. If you would have access to a King James 1611, which is when it was first published in 1611, commissioned by King James, right, of Scots. If you were to get that in that version, there would be the Apocrypha. All of Ecclesiasticus, Baruch, you understand? The Maccabees, all of that was in the King James Bible. Right. You understand? And furthermore, if you care anything about history, as we do in the ISUPK, because we're scholars in here, Bible scholars, we've been trained to be Bible scholars by biblical scholars, right? You would know that it is impossible for your Bible to be complete without the Apocrypha. Why? Why is that? From a historical standpoint, why is it that we know that your King James Bible you have at home that goes straight from Malachi to Matthew is incomplete? How do we know that? From a historical standpoint. What you got, Yanazor?
Because the Apocrypha is not in it.
Come on, but give me, you right. That's essentially the answer, right? But tell me how, even if we didn't have the Apocrypha, right? And we were just to read this, the version, the King James version, everybody knows. That stops with Malachi in the Old Testament, and it starts with Matthew in the New Testament. How could we still know like this ain't right? Go ahead, Yanazor.
Well, one of the things that always stood out to me, the story of the Maccabees is so significant, but there's no trace of it. There's no trace of it in the King James version, the standard King James version that we use every day.
Right.
I never heard of the Maccabees until I came to school.
It's literally the version that most of us are familiar with that does not have the Apocrypha in it is missing hundreds of years of history. You understand? Malachi is what? That's not, I don't believe that's Greek captivity. No, Malachi is what? Babylonian captivity, right? Then by the time Matthew starts, or Persian kind, Malachi is Persians and the Medes, right? Which is after Babylon. Persians and the Medes. But who defeated the Persians and the Medes? We watch the movie all the time. The Greeks. You go ahead, please, Jonathan.
If I may, sir, like it's at least 300 years missing.
Right.
At least 300 years, because the Greeks came in like 300 years before Christ.
Right. Exactly.
So that whole, like, you're going from Malachi to Christ.
Right. Matter of fact, let's look it up. Let's check this out real quick. Let's see. So check this, right? So in the movie 300, which we reference often, right, to show you the connection here with the Bible, because these characters, many of them are in the Bible, right? In the movie 300, the villain is who? King Xerxes. The Bible not only mentions Xerxes, but his father Darius, right? Now, this is the Battle of Thermopylae. So this is the battle that the movie 300 is based on, right? It says was fought between an alliance of ancient Greek city-states led by King Leonidas I of Sparta and the Achaemenid Empire of Xerxes I. It was fought in 480 BC over the course of 3 days during the second Persian invasion of Greece. So in 480 BC, the Persians and the Medes were who were in charge. They had the largest empire. They were running that area around the Mediterranean. Okay, that's 480 BC. Good. Right. Now, the Greeks didn't take over immediately, but this 480 BC was the start, right? When they tried to invade Greece for the second time. And then Greek fought back. The Greeks fought back. Right. It was a prolonged war. That battle in that movie is literally one battle. It's significant because it involves King Leonidas, who was reigned over Sparta at the time, right? But so almost 500 years before Christ, 480 BC, right? At some point during that, then the Greeks would fight back and they would take over and they would start to spread their influence everywhere, right? Yeah, Yadazar.
Under Alexander.
And exactly.
Alexander reigned for 12 years. Then he died. Mm-hmm. Then he divided the empire among his cohorts. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about another 30, 40 years.
Right. It's a long, long time. But again, if you don't have the Apocrypha, you're missing a big chunk. Because when the Old Testament ends in Malachi, he's in captivity under the Persians and the Medes, right? That's who he's under captivity. But then when Matthew starts, Christ is living in a time of what? Roman occupation. So Greece ain't in there at all. Go ahead, Giannis.
According to my studies, the Romans came in about 165 years before Christ. Mm-hmm. After we dispatched the Greeks, matter of fact, in the Apocrypha, we made a deal with the Romans. The Romans were supposed to help us against the Greeks.
Which is how we got hemmed up.
Exactly.
That's how we got messed up. Because we, in trying to defeat the Greeks, made a deal with the Romans. And that's why when Christ is born, he's living in Roman-occupied Jerusalem. Greek culture still, because the Romans are really just kind of, it's kind of like, yeah, it's like a homogenous kind of like flow, right? Greek, they're still coming out of this Greek ran world. So how Greeks spoke, their gods and everything still dominated everything. But the point is, the Apocrypha is part of the Bible, period. All right? Please.
I was talking to my sister, and I was reading something from the book Baruch. And she don't even know who Baruch is.
Of course.
And if you read Jeremiah chapter 36 and 35, Baruch is the underling to Jeremiah. He's the next man in charge.
Right. A lot of these names are common too, which we're going to read right now. But I feel you, because I've had the same reaction. I remember there was a time when I always knew about the Apocrypha, again, because this, I kind of came up knowing certain things. But when I would mention that, people would be like, that's not the Bible. I don't remember. What book is that? It's the Bible. All right. You got that out? Read it from the top before we get right into this.
Sir. Wherefore, let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the
same things force. Uttered in what?
Hebrew.
Uttered in Hebrew. Go ahead.
and translated into another tongue.
So it was spoken in Hebrew, but translated into another tongue or what? Another language. Go ahead.
Have not the same force in them.
Man, you got to learn this Hebrew. You got to. If you care about this Bible, you know what I'm saying? As Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you have got to understand this Hebrew so we can understand their culture of our ancestors. So we can get a true understanding of how they, you know what I'm saying, conveyed their messages. And trust me, when we get it, as we've done many times in this class, you'll see the overlap. You'll start to read the Hebrew and be like, now that I get what that's saying, that's how I talk. That's how we talk. That's how I was raised, really talking just like that. Just using this different language to do so. Read on.
And not only these things, but the law itself
Very
and the prophets
Mhm.
and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language.
Meaning you get for all of it, the laws, you understand, the prophets, all of that. We got to get this Hebrew to understand. That's why we read it for the Sabbath service. Go ahead, young
Sir. And it also means that they all add up together.
They all add up together. Simple. This book, let me tell you something real quick, man. This Bible is about one group of people. That's it. And that's a shocker. You might get flagged on YouTube for saying that. This Bible has nothing to do with anybody else. From Genesis all the way to Revelations, including the Apocrypha, right? Everything them there in between is about Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, or as they're called today, Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. It's all about the Israelites. It's a redemption story. You understand? It's about that's why as the Ottawan brought out yesterday in the class, the prodigal son. That story is all about what? It's about a son coming back to his father and reconciling himself with his brother. Which is what this Bible is all about. One group of people and their fall and the prophesied return, right? That's what it is. Under their king, Yahushua. All right. Let's get it started, right? So we're going to get into this Hebrew. So last week we did the ancient and the Assyrian. We'll go backwards today, and we won't spend too much time on it, but we got to make sure that we have this fresh in our minds, as this is the, this is the basis of everything we do. Like I said, the most important thing, what we want to do ultimately is speak this to each other. We want to be able to talk to each other fluently, right? But before we can do that, we have to be able to read it. We have to be able to see. Where's my Tanakh? Right? Salakia. Of course, Salakia means forgive me. We need to be able to see this, right? See that? You need to be able to see that and read that, right? Brothers and sisters. Now, brothers, y'all going to be up on that podium. Or better yet, y'all going to be up on that stage at the Sabbath service reading that. So you want to be able to do so. All right? But also, sisters, y'all need to learn that too. Why? Again, so we can communicate this. So we can talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? All y'all sisters, Lord willing, those who don't have one yet, Lord willing, you will get one. Sisters, some of y'all have Hebrew names, right? And other sisters will get them, right? And with having Hebrew names, we want to be able to do what? Speak Hebrew. You understand? So that's the important thing. So let's start with this Assyrian. Let's start here. Where's my eraser? No, I got one right here. I'll turn it off. All right. Last week, we had a brother come in, you know what I'm saying, his first time really, encountering the Hebrew. No sweat. So we kind of talked about some basic things, but those basic things are very, very important. Okay. Let's spend about 30 minutes on this. 25, 30 minutes on this. What's this? Oh, yeah. I look. Okay. I'll leave that there because this is a nice phrase, and I want to kind of. I can actually use this to kind of show something about why we say that like that. Okay. Oh, that's smooth. That's smooth. You got to throw that. You know what I'm saying on your hobby. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Con, right? So let's go. Now y'all know this at the back of your hands, right? So we're just gonna run through this. I'm gonna break down these some, but let's go straight and fly through the alphabet real quick. Y'all ready? Let's go. Here we go. Ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za, ha, ta, ya, ka, la, ma, na, sa, I, pa, ta, za, qua, ra, sha, tha. Well done, right? So we got the ah right here, right? So again, and I want everyone watching online, pay attention to, of course, these what are called. Now, you'll hear me say this a lot. I rehash a lot of these things. Why? Because a lot of times we have new brothers that come in, new sisters, people online or whatever. So if you hear me saying something you heard before, Salakia, it just is what it is. I got to teach everybody. You know what I mean? So Salakia, for those who are experts in these things already, right? But we have to, remind everybody. So the red ones are what are called, or what can be called, transliterations. Okay? Transliterations. Okay? A transliteration differs from a translation. There's a difference. They are not the same thing. What is the difference? Yanazar, I know you know. What is the difference between a translation and a transliteration? Exactly. So then, so the sister said correctly, translation is what it means. Let me show you. So this is a translation. Let me show you. So I'm gonna write it right here, right? This is a translation. All my Spanish speakers, man, I haven't wrote this word in probably like 25 years. Right? Rojo means what in Spanish? Red. You too, huh? Rojo means red. Right? What about this one? Now I'm testing y'all Spanish, right? Azul. I'll remember this. Y'all memory is terrible. Brother. No sweat. I mean, this is not a bad guess. The sister's right. Right. This is blue. It's blue. Right. Azul is blue, right? All right. These are all Spanish. Let me throw you for a loop with one more. Let's see. Let's say I think of a random. Okay. No. Okay, this one. Everyone knows this. Hola means hello, right? Now these are all Spanish, right? These are translations. If I was to do one in Hebrew, right? If I was to do one in Hebrew, I might say, okay, shalom. Shalom translates to what? Peace. All right. You see what's happening here? A translation is a transference of meaning between languages. It's to let you know what these match in terms of meaning. This means this in English. So this Spanish word, the English equivalent in terms of meaning is this. Same here is this. Same here is this. This is a Hebrew word, right? The English equivalent in terms of meaning is this. You say shalom, right? But now, check this out. Show you a transliteration, right? This is just what you're going to, we're going to stick with the Syrian for now because that's what we have up there. How will we transliterate that? The word that's under transliterations. How would we transliterate that? Well, I mean, Yanazar, if you can transliterate that in another language other than English, I'm highly impressed. I'd say English. How would we transliterate that into English? Not translate. Now notice, see the difference here, right? So what would I write? What would I write? So to translate, no. So to translate rojo, I wrote red. To translate azul, I wrote blue. Hola, hello. Shalom, peace. Now I wrote something in Assyrian Hebrew on the board. How would I transliterate that? What would I write? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Give him a hand. Right. You see, it corresponds here. Because the difference is that this is not about meaning. Technically, if I wanted to translate this or either one of them as in terms of meaning, right, I would write peace. This is the English transliteration. All right. So when you hear us saying Baga and you see these written, that's what that is. We're taking these symbols. A transliteration is you taking a symbol or a glyph or a letter from another language, and you are using the alphabet or the letters from yet another language to what? To mimic the sound. Y'all got me, right? You follow me? That's what that is. We are only using these so we can formulate the sound of a language. As I always say, and I'm going to say it forever, there's so many words and things that we say in English that are not English words because they're transliterations. Like when we say Jackie Chan, like when we say Jet Li, like when we say, you could think of almost any celebrity that has a name from another language. You know what I'm saying? Osama bin Laden. None of that is English. Right? Saddam Hussein. None of that is English. There is no English word Saddam. Okay? But when you say Saddam Hussein, you are speaking Arabic. Osama bin Laden, you're speaking Arabic. And then when you see it written out, Osama bin Laden, you're using English letters so you can be able to speak this other language. So that's what we're doing here. Same as you see right here with this phrase that everyone should get familiar with, right? I love you in Hebrew, Anya Ahabyaka. This right here is the transliteration. It's so that way we can read it as being native English speakers. We need a way for us to be able to see it and say it, because everyone's not going to be familiar with this all the time off rip. Right? They're not going to know what this is immediately. So we use transliteration to help us bridge the gap between the two. All right? Most High in Christ. So now, okay. All right. So I'm gonna rewrite the letters. I'm gonna rewrite the letters. Hey, shalom. Khan, what's going on, bro? All right, so I'm gonna rewrite the letters so y'all can see how we write them too, Thwada. Appreciate it. All right. Let me see which one of my markers, because the black, let me see, I'm trying to look online to see which one is, let me see which one of my markers is gonna be more noticeable. Yeah. Okay, the black should be Tuab. Let's see. I'm gonna try it out. All right. Right, I'm writing them a little bit larger too. So yeah, it's a good exercise in how to write these letters. Start with the first row. All right. So first letter is Ah. Ah. It's written as such, right? So, see, now this black is crazy. Oh, heck no. Can't use that one. Need the blue. But I'll write it larger. Hopefully y'all can see it online. All right? Better. All right? This is what the Ah looks like. Curve like this, straight line here. And then this kind of line going up with a cross right here. Okay? Ah. Now, we won't spend too much time on this. We talked about it last week. This word. Yeah, so we need some new markers. Come on, let's see what we got. All right. Everybody's familiar with this term, alphabet. Alphabet. Talked about it last week. Where does this word come from? Alphabet. If anybody online knows where this word comes from, alphabet, please type it into the chat. It's important to understanding this language historically. See, give y'all brothers and sisters a chance. And brother, if you could, let me know in the chat if you could see that letter that I just wrote, if you could see that. No sweat, right? So alphabet, the word alphabet. If you notice, the first two letters of the Hebrew alphabet are Ah and this letter. Remember, this is Assyrian Hebrew. This is not, right now we're not doing ancient Hebrew just yet. We're going to get to that. Right now we're doing Assyrian Hebrew. This is the more common form that you're going to see written now. Modern Hebrew is written using these characters, but we don't speak what they call modern Hebrew because modern Hebrew is really Yiddish. You understand? It's not real Hebrew. All of these transliterations you see, this is how ancient Hebrew was spoken. Okay? So when you see us saying, Anya Ahabiaka, Shalom, Yahweh Shema, Ataba Shem El Shah, when you see us saying those things, that's ancient Hebrew in terms of what we're saying. But these characters are Assyrian Hebrew. We're going to learn the ancient ones in just a minute, right? But these first two letters, oh, wow. Some bugged out colors. That's why they was back there. I might use this brown. I'm not about to write it. No, you 12, but I'm not using purple on this board, bro. You trying to get me checked? It's not going down, right? But I think this is cool for now. Right? If I got to switch it, it's no sweat, right? Ah and ba. Think of it as consonants A and B, right? A, B. A, B. Because all of these symbols are consonants. All of them. Every single one. There's no vowel on this board. In ancient Hebrew, there is no written vowel, period. It doesn't exist. If someone tells you it exists, they're lying. And they don't know anything about linguistic history at all. There is no written vowel system in Hebrew, period. Okay? All of these are consonants. They all function as such. Now, ah and ba. What does that have to do with alphabet? I'll tell you what. For time's sake, I'll tell you what it has to do with alphabet. The word alphabet comes from the first two letters of what?
Hebrew.
Khan, but
Greek.
right. The Greek comes from this, right? The reason why the first two letters in Greek are what they are because of Hebrew. But the first two letters in Greek are, let me use the red. Show the difference. The first two letters in the Greek alphabet are, you might be familiar with these words, alpha and beta. Alpha and beta. Alpha, beta. The alphabet was actually originally called the alpha beta, right? Representing the beginning of the Greek alphabet, right? This is why Christ in the New Testament, he said, what? I am Alpha and Omega, because those are Greek letters. At the time, that was the first and the last of all the Greek letters. You understand? If we were to look at a chart corresponding to what those letters are today, I want to say the omega is like Q or something like that. Because alpha is definitely not, there was no X, Y, Z, all of that. Alpha is A, omega was like Q or something today. It was around there, somewhere around Q, right? There was only about 22 letters in the alphabet. How many letters are in the Hebrew alphabet, Yanazor? 22. How many letters are in the standard English alphabet now? 26. You understand? The Greek alphabet comes from the Hebrew alphabet. You understand? But we didn't say alpha and beta. It was ah and ba. Okay? Most High in Christ. Now, let's continue. Ah, ba. Then the next one. Ga. All right. Da. All right. Then we got the ha. Yeah, I might have to use the Bobby Brown. Let's see, because the blue is killing me. Let's see. Let's see how that looks. Oops, Salakia. That's better. Kind of. We'll go with the Cleveland Brown. All right, so I'm gonna rewrite these so y'all can see it better with this different marker. All right. All right. Ah. Ba. Ga. Da. Ha. Wa. Right. Za. Okay. Ah, ba, ga, da, ha, wa, za. The first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And this is the Assyrian. We're going to learn ancient in a moment. All right. We're going to learn that. Like I said, I want to get to these colors. We got an hour left. We're gonna get through this, okay? So now, you can when you get a chance, you can just toss this when you get a chance. Come on, the water. And I'm gonna volunteer after this one. All right. Now the cha, right, is a softer back of the throat, pause, back of the palate is where that sound comes from, right? Cha. All right, cha. It's softer, and it looks like this. Okay. Then we have the ta. Okay. The ta. The ya just kind of sits. It's like a right angle, just kind of sitting at the top like that. It's kind of up. Then we have the ka. All right, which almost looks like a backwards C. The la. Okay. Ma. And we'll see when we get to the ancient how these correspond with the current letters. We can see the history at work. So the ma in its normal form is going to look like this. Okay. And then the na is going to look kind of like a 3. Okay. Now I need a volunteer. The next line. Hmm. Okay. No sweat. I'll keep going. Next one is the sa. Sa is going to look like almost like a circle. This little, it almost looked like alfalfa. Y'all remember alfalfa? God, that's what the sa almost looks like in Assyrian, right? Then we got the I, something like a backwards Y. You know what I'm saying, with 2 crosses at the top. Okay. Then we got the pa. The pa is going to look almost like a upside down G. Okay. Then we have the tazah. And recall that this tazah really has a pronunciation closer to tazah. It's not like tazah, it's like it's closer, like not tazah, it's tazah, 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 tazah. You feel me? Like it's a little bit closer to that, right? It's not tazah because we already have a ta and a za. So when it's pronounced, it's supposed to be pronounced more like tazah, tazah, tazah. All right. The tazah, salakia, is going to be like this, but the other way. It's going to come down, across at the bottom, like this, and like this. Then we have the qua, which is going to look like this. It's almost like a funky kind of R almost. Then the ra is going to just kind of be like curved like this. Then the sha, we used it before to write shalom. We're going to explain that in a second. It's going to be like this. Like a fancy W, or like a pitchfork. Okay? The last but not least, the letter that begins my name, the tha, It's going to be like this. It's going to have the same curve like the Ra, but then it's going to have this line that does this. It curves out and comes back down. All right? Abagada hawaza. Hata yakala ma na sa I pa tiza kwara shatha. Okay? This is the entirety of all the pronunciations within the Hebrew language. There's nothing else. There's nothing more. You can't add anything. There's nothing else to add. And if you notice, there's no O's anywhere. There's no E's anywhere or O's anywhere. Right? Why? Because as we alluded to, as we said, right, all of these are consonants. Some of you might be familiar with or have heard of other vowels in Hebrew. Who's ever heard this word? Shalom.
Con, sir.
You've heard this. Please, Yanazar, get down for them.
I sent you a
Mhm.
I sent you a article today.
I mentioned it in the
Amari Stoudemire.
Mhm.
Did you see that one?
I did.
He was talking about, if I may, sir.
Please, no, bring it up.
He was talking about how difficult it was to learn the Hebrew from the Jewish man. And the first thing I thought of Adawan, the reason why he was saying that is because the addition of the vowel system that they implemented
Right
onto the Hebrew.
Right. That's a heavy point and a major fact. Okay. Now we could almost spend a whole class talking about the hijacking and corruption of Hebrew. We really could. But for our sakes, just forget everything you ever knew about Hebrew, and just know that when you read, so check it out. Yanazar has mentioned about the vowel system. So I'm gonna show you this Tanakh again. Right? I'm gonna show you all this. Right? And I said I thought it would have been Egypt. Now that's a good guess. That's a good guess, but no, it comes from Greek, right? So you see this? Now, if y'all can look real close, I know it might be a little fuzzy. Salakia. There you go. Y'all see them little dots all over the place? So if you're looking at this, right, what you are seeing is what I wrote on the board. Right? This is the Assyrian Hebrew. This is the system of writing we adopted when we were in captivity under the Assyrians. Okay? You see these little dots all over the place. Like look at that. Right there, that word. Y'all see that word? That word says ashar. Ashar. Amongst many of its meanings, it can mean happy. It says ashar, right? See all those dots all over the place? You're like, what the hell is that? Well, let me show you. Let me show you. I mentioned it last week. We'll say it again just for the sake of learning. Those dots are called, if you look it up, if the word you want to look up to know what they are is Nakud. 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 That's what those dots are. And I'm going to tell you right now, they are nonsense. This is nonsense. This is garbage, and it has nothing to do with Hebrew. But you're going to see it. You're going to see a word like, you see this, how I wrote shalom, right? This is what you'll see. You'll see something like this, right? You'll see the shah, you'll see the la, and you'll see the ma, right? I'll explain why that looks like that at the end. Just a second. You'll see that, but then you'll see stuff like this. Right. This is after. This is like during the Masoretes. Like this is like 700, 800 AD. If I'm not mistaken, I believe these were Edomites. These were devils. These were devils that started to put this crap in our language. You understand? These are the same devils who didn't even believe in the Bible. You know what they was reading or what they wrote? The Talmud. They call it rabbinic, from rabbi, right? They believe in the Talmud. The Talmud is the same book that tells rabbis that they should put their mouths on baby penises when they circumcise them and give them herpes. You think I'm joking? Look it up. Put it in your Google machine. You feel me? Yeah, of course there was a big case in New York because they kept giving herpes to the babies. Herpes. Please.
To know that the oppressor is the devil, the Jewish people won the case, and they made an ordinance for them in the city that allows them to do it.
Allows them to give more babies herpes because they putting they rods in their mouth. You laughing? Salakia, it's the truth. That's what they do, right? So these same devils that put baby rods in their mouth are the ones who put all those dots around. And they did that so they can do what? A system. Again, I know I don't want to get too heavy into it. All you need to know is that the Nikud is to address or implement a system. I'm really teaching history now. We heard it before, but called Matrix. I want y'all to look all these words up. Matrix lectionis. Matrix lectionis. This is actually a Latin word or a Latin phrase that means what? Mother tongue or mother language. Matrix lectionis is a system whereby a consonant can be used as a, somebody read my mind. It's a consonant, but it can be used as a vowel. That's how you can take, I'm going to erase this for now to show you what I'm talking about. That's how you can take this right? And while now this is going to break down two things at one time, we'll do this fast. This is a sha. This is a la. This is a wa. And this is a ma. Now, if you try to say this through, you're going to end up saying what? You say it, Giannis. I don't want to say it. If you were to spell that out, what would that spell? It's going to say shalom, which is not real, right? The reason why that's in there at all is so that they can, because they had implemented this system called Matrix lectionis, they can turn this wa into a vowel. So the wa here becomes an O. So you got, and then it, as a vowel, it can connect consonants. So the sha remains, but now they're using this as almost a connector between the la and the ma. So what happens? Shalom. That's what all those dots are for. That's what they do. We don't mess with none of that because it's not real, and it was never in ancient Hebrew. This is how white people speak Hebrew. Yeah, they ruin everything. Disgusting. Now, at the end, no, please go ahead, please.
Isn't like, oh, it's the Likud. Like their government, like one of their political parties is called either Nikud or Likud in Israel today. Like they have a party with a similar name. I know it's either the Likud or the Nikud.
Right.
It just popped into
No, that's no sweat, brother. I wouldn't be shocked. It's disgusting. Everything they do is vile and horrible. I think they're gonna have a gay parade coming up. I'm not sure when, but I know in Israel, in Tel Aviv, they have one of the biggest gay parades on planet Earth, and that's supposed to be the Holy Land.
Ashdod.
Mm-hmm.
and it says that they would be bastards in Ashdod.
Oh, there's Most High in Christ, because that's real. There's definitely bastards in Ashdod. Right? So now, real quick, before we go into the ancient, and then, you know what I'm saying, hit up some of these different words and just show you how a sentence works. Let me write these out and put the red again. Let me go over these. So there's 5 letters that are different at the end of a word. It is the ka, ma, the na, the pa, and the tizah. Right? Those 5 letters at the end of a word are going to have utilize a different symbol, which is why, again, you will see in the Tanakh, when you read in this Assyrian Hebrew, you'll see it on some of these. Let me see. Salakia, there we go. Oh, sorry, y'all. Move it over there. You see that? Let me see if I can see a specific word. Right there, there's one right there. Looks like it says Kamalka or Kamalak or Hamalak, which might mean the king. Malak is the Hebrew word for king. Makes sense, doesn't it? Right? Because every single one of us, I mean, I'm old, but all of us, you know what I'm saying, who grew up in the 80s and 90s, I grew up in the 90s. You know, I knew like 8 people named Malik. You know what I mean? And Malik, right? Like 8 people named Malik, which of course is Arabic for king, right? Even though technically it's pronounced Malik. That's why Malcolm X's name was changed to what? El Hajj Malik Al Shabazz, right? Malak is the Hebrew form, right? Which matches the Arabic again. You see there's a connection between the two. They're both Western Shemitic languages. They're related, closely related. They're not the same, but they are related. All right. So these 5 letters are going to be the ka. So what you're gonna do is, I feel like I just said that mad British. It's like what? It's like the ka. You're going to take it, right? Like you forming the C, but you're going to keep going straight down. So imagine this. So I'm going to write this so you can kind of visualize it. Imagine on a page, this is like a line, right? Like like in your notebook, right? You got that line, right? The margin, right? It's going to extend down farther than the rest of these. You're going to see it with the ma. The ma does not extend down. It's just closed. You close it. Boom. I always do that one kind of weird. There we go. All right. Okay. Boy, oh boy. I always mess that one up. Salakia, bear with me. I got to be real attentive here. Better. All right. Even though it does kind of have I ain't gonna say that word. That's the ma, all right? That's all you need to know. Now the na, see how this one is like a 3? It's gonna turn into the same thing. You're gonna kind of come down like this, but then you're gonna keep going, extending past the margin, right? Almost like a question mark. Okay. Same thing with the pa. You're gonna kind of take the original form of it, like that upside down G, and instead of coming down and going around, like you're gonna make it almost like hangman and keep going down. All right. And then the last one, the tazat, you're gonna do the same thing. The top of it is gonna be just like this. But instead of coming down and going back, you're going to keep going. All right? And this is, you're going to only use these at the end of a word. If for whatever reason, any of these letters appear at the end of a word, this is how you're going to write them. Okay? Okay. Let's practice with a couple of words before we go to the Assyrian. Matter of fact, okay, I did say I wanted to do colors. Let's see if I have any colors that end with these so we can demonstrate it. Bear with me. Okay. All right. We got a color right here we can use. We have a color we can use right here to demonstrate this at work. And I'm also going to use the word for king. Oh, that's one of my favorite examples to use. So, who knows how to say white in Hebrew? White. And remember, not red. The devil is red. He is not white. When we say that the oppressor is the devil, he calls himself white. That's what he calls himself. He, of course, is not white. He's not white. There is not, I can put him in front of this board. He will stand out. This board is white. Even though right now it's like white, black, red, blue, because of the markers. But you get what I'm saying. If I was to hold up a sheet of paper next to a so-called oppressor, he would not match the sheet of paper. He is not white. Understand? They are different shades of, they are red. They are red. And you know how you know it? Because whenever black people are light-skinned, what do we call them? Red bones, right? Malcolm X, right? Born Malcolm Little, his mother's father, if I'm not mistaken, was a devil, right? And she was very fair-skinned. And even though his father was a dark-skinned man, now Malcolm X was light-skinned, but he wasn't like a light bright. He was light-skinned. He was a light-skinned brother, right? Because of his mother, right? But even how light-skinned he was known as what? Detroit Red, because he had red hair. He was light-skinned with red hair. So they called him Detroit Red, right? We always associate being light-skinned with being red, not white, because nobody's white, all right? Another myth dispelled. They call themselves white because why? White is associated with purity, perfection, righteousness, cleanliness. As Christ, when he talked about the Pharisees and Sadducees, one of my favorite scriptures, he said what? He said they are like unto whited sepulchres. Because something that's white is clean. It's clean. It's bright. It's it's without blemish. That's why they call themselves that. There's nothing to do with the actual complexion. They are red, not the so-called Native American Indians. All right. But let's use this. So the Hebrew word for white is labun. Labun. So what you want to do, all y'all at home, if you're checking out the class, right, a good tool you can use, and this will help you tremendously. If you want to, you know what I'm saying, you want to read the Hebrew or what have you, what you do is you go to blueletterbible.org, blueletterbible.org, O-R-G, right? And it'll pull up this website, Blue Letter Bible. Okay, right now mine is going crazy slow. Okay, swap. Right, blueletterbible.org. It'll pull up this website, right? This is where you can actually view the Hebrew on your phone. Blueletterbible.org, right? You can literally type in, the beauty of it, it's like a concordance. It's like a concordance. So let me, babe, could you just grab that for me? Salakia. Don't worry, you can step on the stage. There's no sweat. Okay. I got some rank, so it's all good. I can give you the permission. So of course we know when we study the Hebrew, right, and we want to break down the words and understand it. Again, you're not going to get this. You probably never seen one of these in your Christian church, more than likely. You know what I'm saying? You probably never seen one of these. Now, this, of course, is a Strong's Concordance of the Bible. This book has an exhaustive list of all of the words, right? The English words, right? And then it has like a reference system, right? To tell you how to find the Hebrew word. So all of these numbers correspond to a Hebrew word. So right here, you see, okay, so you got world words. We're in the S section. Speakers, speaketh, speaketh, speaking, spearmen, spears, right? And then it has H 29, 25, 95, H 74, 20, H 67, 67. And that's how that H means Hebrew. And then you can go to that section, and then in the Hebrew section, and you can see. Right? See that? Might be a little, out of focus. Right? Well, guess what? Basically, the Blue Letter Bible is this on your phone. You know what I'm saying? Basically. So you go to Blue Letter Bible, and we want to find how to say the word for white. Go, Most High in Christ. So now we know that we could look at it that way. We could type in white, right? When you type in white, it's gonna pull up like this on your phone. Salakia, bear with me. You're gonna see search results because it's gonna show you the scriptures, and then at the top you see lex. You see a word that says lex. That means a lexicon. You go to the lexicon. You can scroll down, right? Find the appropriate one, and we'll see which one you say, Yanazar. Right, they're both the same word, right? Labun, right? One of them is probably like a different grammatical. See, yeah, labun is a word, a verb. So labun means to make white or be white. It's a verb, it's an action. But labun 3836 is probably an adjective. It absolutely is an adjective, as I predicted, because it's just describing something. So labun. Let me show you the word. Right? See that? It's a la, a ba, and a na. La bun. Right? And using, as we showed here, you see it like this. So now if we write it based on what we have, I'm going to transliterate it first. Hope y'all can see. La bun. La bun. Now let's put it back into Hebrew, right? To translate it, Laban means white. Now to put it into Hebrew, now of course, remember this, Hebrew goes from right to left, not left to right. It's not like English. In English, we go from left to right, right? In English, tongue, language, holy, we go from left to right. Hebrew is written, this is why we started on this side, from right to left. Most ancient languages are written like that. Chinese is written like that to this day. Mandarin and Cantonese are written from right to left. Arabic is written from right to left. All right. So now we're going to transfer this from this transliteration into Hebrew, into Assyrian Hebrew. So we're going to do what? We're going to we got to break it down. Remember, all consonants, these vowels, right, can be eliminated, but the consonant is really the main focus. Notice I made 3 circles, la, ba, and then the na here at the end. 3 consonants, meaning 3 letters. It has to be. Watch. So the la, we got a la here, so we got to use the la. right? Ba, we got a ba here, so we have to use the ba. And then we have this word, so it's labun, na. So we need a na, but as I said, at the root of it, at the very basis of it, it's a consonant. This na right here, we can eliminate that vowel that's attached to it and just use the consonantal sound. But because it's at the end of a word, we cannot use this symbol. We have to use what? This symbol, which again is our question mark. Labun. Now, let's see if that corresponds. Does that work? Is that correct? Is that proper? Yes, it is. Let's look at it. There we go. Boom. You see that? That's exactly what we wrote on the board. Labun. Labun, which means white. All right? Okay. Now, let's do another one. Let's erase this. Salakia. Okay. Right? So now, where am I at? Right, we did Labun, right? So let's say we spoke earlier about this word, king. King in Hebrew. The word for king in Hebrew is malak. Malak, right? See that? Malak. This is also where who's ever heard of Molech? You're familiar with Molech? Right? Now, Molech would translate into Hebrew. It wouldn't be Molech, it would be Malak. Please.
His, to show the proof of the Hebrew, his name was, part of his name was Molech. But he was from Egypt. He was an Egyptian. So that word was, it means exactly what you're saying. I mean, he was the king of Egypt, but Molech was part of his name.
Right. Molech comes from Malak. And when you read in the scriptures, right, and you see Molech, we would not have pronounced it Molech. We would have said Malak, right? But again, what's the example I always use? And I use these because they're only because they demonstrate how this works well. Malak to mean Molech would be similar to saying in German what word? I always say it. Führer. Führer is a German word which means what? Leader. Doesn't mean Hitler. It means leader. But because he was so prominent and just so, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean, so cunning and well known, he became known as what? The Führer, the leader, such a leader. His name became synonymous with that word. But now you hear Führer and you think of Hitler, right? So Malak You had brothers named Malak. We got brothers named Malak now because we're not afraid of words, right? Malak just means king. But this deity was known as the king, right? It was associated with him. And that's all it is. There's nothing spooky about it, right? They just called him this word, right? But Malak. Now, how would we write this in Assyrian? Okay, Yanazar? No, please, actually, please. Most I in Christ. Yanazar is going to show us that excellent Tawab handwriting. Make sure you pause. Just write it nice and big. I'm saying for the people at home, but that brown is working. That's Tawab. Perfect. Pause. It's like, there you go. Now watch what he does. Right. Malak. Beautiful. Perfect. Right? The water, brother. The water. Y'all see what he did? Y'all see what he did? Let's extend it like this, right? The ma, right? The ma, okay? The la and the ka, but he used the ka as it appears at the end of a word. The same one we wrote right there, right? Malak. But now, what if we add a possessive to it? What if we need to address someone else's king? Then this Malak would become what? It would become. So again, we didn't get into it. I want to do it today, but we've been kind of really breaking down these letters. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we had some new brothers and sisters in the chat. You know what I mean? So we wanted to, get them a refresher and let them see how this works. It's no sweat. Malak, right? This means king. Root word, base word, it's a noun, king. But if to turn it into a possessive, how would we say my king? Malakia. We would add Salakia, we would add this possessive at the end, this suffix, so to speak. Make it Malakia, which means my king, right? How would we say our king? Yahweh Shai is our king. How would we say the sentence Yahweh Shai is our king?
Say,
Malak
Nawa.
How would we say Yahweh Shai is our king?
Yahweh Shai Malak Nawa.
Most High in Christ. Give him a hand. Just like that. That brother speaks Hebrew. Period. Yahweh Shai Malak Nawa. Right? That's a question that we ask. How do we say that question in Hebrew? Who's your king? Huh? We're going to learn something a little new here too. I believe it's ma. Ma. We always had this issue, but I've officially been kind of told how to deal with it. You ever run into a word? All my brothers and sisters tuning in. Salaki. So would the ma be closed on Malak? La'a, sis. Right? I believe that's the sister Salaki. I'm not too sure. Sakara, I believe. Kind of the ma would not be closed. Oh, she got you, brother. You right? No, damn. So again, that's whoever that is, Sakara. I believe that's the sister. Give her a hand. Give her a hand. You caught the brother. Damn. Because you almost combined the two. We're gonna fix it right now, sis. Watch this. Boom. Just like that. Now it's Tawab. The water. No, you're right. It would not be closed at the bottom, right? It wouldn't be closed. You know what I'm saying? It would have this opening right here, the water. You're correct. There you go. All right? Most High in Christ for that. You correct, sis. You know what I mean? Now, you ever run into a situation where you see a word and you try to put that possessive on it? You try to put that possessive on the end of it, and it's like weird, like malaka, like malaka. How the hell do I say that? Or what about if I want to say, it's easy to say my brother, Akia, our brother, Aknawa. But what if I got to say your brother, Akha, Akka? No, but your brother. Because remember, so we did Malakia means my. So ya at the end of a word turns it into my. Okay? Now, but here's the problem. To say your, so we'll use a different word real quick, right? So the Hebrew word for name is what? You know what Giannis are. There we go. Most time. God, that's it. No, you Tawab, brother. You know what I'm saying? I made the same mistake as Tawab. You're right. Its name is this word again. Salakia. Shum. Shum is the Hebrew word for name. Okay? So when you read the scriptures, look it up, put it in your Google machine, go to Blue Letter Bible. Whenever you see someone say your name in relation to the Most High or anybody else, this is what they're going to say. They're going to say Shamka. Shamka. That's why, how does the Lord's Prayer go in Hebrew? Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Qadash, Hayah, Shamka. Shamka, your name. In English, what do we say? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, your name. The thy name part or your name is Shamka. Shamka, right? But that's easy because of the consonant here in connecting to the suffix at the end. But what if at the end of the word is a ka or a ka? That's going to be weird and awkward. Like akka. It's like, huh? So here's what we do. Whenever you face something like this with a ka at the end or a ka at the end, or whenever it just don't work, like it seems it's difficult to get it out, you're going to use the ya as a buffer. So now malak ka, we're not going to say malak ka, right? We might say, to say possessive your brother, or sorry, your king, thy king, we're going to say malakyaka. Malakyaka. You follow me? Come. We're going to use it as a buffer. Malakyaka. Now check it out. Watch what we're about to do. First, let's go to the blue letter. Bear with me just a second. I don't know why my phone is going so slow. Now, granted, it's not wrong to say malakka. Malakka. That's not wrong. Okay, just want to make sure you understand that. Because you're going to see it in the scriptures. You're going to see malakka in the scriptures. But you can also say malakyaka if it's easier for you. Okay? It's easier if it's easy for you to say Malakiaka, you can say that. Okay? But Malaka is not wrong. But still, for our example we're about to use, it's still prevalent. Because what we're talking about is this letter at the end of a word. So now, because we got two different cards. So now, Malakyaka, this right here has to change. We have to have this one. Malak. Yeah. Now, which one are we going to use? Are we going to use the same one? The same ka? Ka. We're going to have to use this one. Because it's at the end of a word. Even if we were to eliminate the ya and say malaka, we have this exact same letter, but a different form. Because it's at the end of a word. Follow me? We have to. All right? Please.
And it's hard to pronounce when you're reading. It's not so easy to say Malaka.
Right. It's really not, right? But it's possible. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely can be that Malaka. Right? It's just again a little bit harsher. It's doable, but again, you can use the ya. If we again, this is our language, and this is what I've been taught. Do not be afraid to speak it. It's yours. We know it better than anybody. Speak it. If you got to say Malakika, say it. If you can say Malaka and it's comfortable for you, say that. Right? But remember, this is your language. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. This is your language, your original language. In fact, this language is so old, you got it on scrolls in Arizona and tablets and on rocks in Mexico that are dated thousands of years old. It's yours. Use it. Okay? So now, with that being said, let's move on to a little bit of this ancient. Are we going to close it with this? We're going to end it with this, Salaki. I'm going to say. All right, everybody got this? Okay. Now, I don't want to hear no excuses. I know y'all know how to write this. Well, Giannis, you know. I know y'all know how to write this ancient. Everybody loves the ancient so much. Ooh-wee, it's just the most beautiful Tawab thing you've ever seen. Damn, this brown is, what is this? What? We got any more of that Lysol? Give me one of them, Giannis, yeah, them Lysol wipes. And give me, if you could, Bob, could you bring me some paper towels as well? God damn. This is black onto the ground. Like that one, right? Don't sweat. I mean, damn. We ain't it? Salagi, bear with me as I try to labun this board. Yeah, with the wipes. You only got one wipe? No sweat. That should be too. I'm gonna try to erase all of this shit. Salagi. Oh damn. It's a lot more than I thought. Shoot. Oh shit. Salakia. Bear with us. You know what I mean? We gotta, yeah. Because this was not it. Yeah. It's still there though. I don't know. Fact, but it's coming off though. But I'm gonna do the same with these. I ain't even gonna bother with that eraser because ooh wee. I need a dry paper towel. Okay. What? That's better. What? Okay. What's that? That's smooth. Oh, and I got. I see. All right. So let me, okay, I'm gonna spray this on the board. Again, Salakia, bear with me, everybody. You know what I'm saying? We try to do things in decency and order. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta clean these things up accordingly. All right. Damn it. You know. Yeah, word, right? Oh, that one came out. That one came off just fine. All right. Salakia. Sorry to take away from y'all learning time. But of course, you had to make sure everything was looking to Rob. No sweat. All right, let's get it. Smooth. At the water, brother. At the water. Real at the water. All right. Volunteer. Come. Hey, can you do all of it? The sister might attempt to do all of it. Let's get it. Come on. You got to use the Cleveland Browns again if we got to clean it afterwards. That's no sweat. So you write it, John, that's too hard. Make sure you write it nice and large so everybody can see it. There we go. This sister right here is a Hebrew expert. What you do? There we go. Mm-hmm. Ta, if you need me to write it again. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Sa. Look at this. Off the straight memory, she not looking at the paper or nothing. Taza. Kwa. Ra. Shah. Da. Give her a hand. God damn. Look at that. You see how she ran through that? Damn. This is ancient. This sister just wrote ancient letters on the board. I say this all the time, but I want y'all brothers and sisters to realize that y'all have a special skill. You are writing ancient, this is not hieroglyphics, but you are writing ancient languages that people they don't recognize this. They don't know what it is. They don't have any clue of what it is you're writing. And you know the entire alphabet, and you can pronounce it the way it was pronounced in its original form, right? Most High in Christ. Now we're gonna actually, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna actually take this and we're gonna write a couple of words with this ancient, and we're gonna write I love you in the ancient. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're gonna do. But this right here is ancient Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew. I hope y'all paying attention at home. I hope y'all paying attention. We're talking about the writing on the stones. Let me show you something. Let me show you. Hold up. Here we go. I always show this one. The Mesha Stele, also known as the Moabite Stone, is a stele dated around 840 BCE containing a significant Canaanite inscription in the name of King Mesha of Moab, a kingdom located in modern Jordan. Don't be thrown off by the fact that it says Moab, because remember that Moab and Israel are related. You know what I'm saying? This is the same region. These are both Shemitic people, right? So the writing and inscriptions are very similar. So if you look at the Moabite stone, which I'm going to show you right now, I'm going to zoom in. It's going to be might be a little hard for y'all to see, but check it out. This is the Moabite. This is from 840 years before Christ. Let's see, that's Lakia. 840 years before Christ was even born. The Mesha Stele, Meshastele. The Mesha Stela or Stele, right? This is a stele or a stone from 840 years before Christ was born. Check out this part. It is written in a variant of the Phoenician alphabet closely related to what? The Paleo Hebrew script. Ooh-wee, good night. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shah for Commander General Yohana and the men of the Isupk and them brothers who held this truth down as long as they did. Because like I said, this is history. This is factual. And this is thousands of years old. And no one today can read it except you. So lock you. What in the world is this? No sweat. All right. Check it out. Check it out. Oh, Salaki, bear with me 1 second. So now, let's see, let me see. Just to show you how this works. We'll just write a couple of words, a couple of quick words. We were talking about colors. We did Laban, right? Did Laban. Pause. Let's see the word for black. Black. Where's that marker? Oh, here we go. I'm going to erase this part right here. All right. The word for black is shakar. Shakar. There's other words. This is the main masculine form. Shakar. Right? And now we're going to write it not in the Assyrian. So we did Laban, pause, which is white. If we translate this or transfer this into Assyrian, this is how it would look. right? Y'all don't notice that some of these things look familiar? Are y'all looking at this online? Look at this ah. Rotate it. What we have? That's an A, right? Look at the za. It's a Z. The za is a Z, right? The ta has a cross in the middle. So was that yeah, like an X, right? But I'm saying if you flip it, it looks like an X. Right, exactly. But if you turn it a little bit, it would look more like this, which has a T in the middle. The ka looks simultaneously like a backwards C and a backwards K. All you got to do, this is a K. But if you were to take this straight line and just kind of curve it, it would look like a ka. The la literally has the same shape as your modern day L. Okay? This is the oldest form, period. Not even close. Now you take your ma, right? This is the ma corresponding to the M. If you flip it upside down, what would it look like? It would be something like that's an M. And the same thing with the na. The same thing with the na. Flip it. Say All right. I know it looks funky, but just imagine. I'll flip it a little bit. Yeah. It's an N. You feel me? So the I promise y'all we would have some body parts. I didn't get into it, but I'll give you one right now. Back to Blue Letter Bible. Literally the word for eye, your eyeball, in Hebrew is this. I'm gonna write it in ancient. It's I. It's ayon. Ayin. Ayin. All right. This symbol, it's your eye. It's eyeball, your eye. This symbol, the I, literally pronounced I, it represents an eyeball. That's literally why it looks like that. We're gonna talk about that in the coming week. I already told y'all. I got the whole list. We're gonna go into it, right, and show you how each symbol is representative of a physical thing. The eye is your eyeball, right? That's why it's a circle like this. Okay. So now, Shakar, Salaki. How would we write this in ancient? Again, we're just going to take the combination of letters that we need. A sha, a ka, and we see a R, the consonant, so we need a ra. So we're going to write them. We're going to write a sha. We're going to write a ka. And we're going to write a ra. But then we're going to use our connectors to formulate the appropriate amount of syllables. Sh-car, sh-car, sh-car. How many syllables? 2. So how many connectors? 2. So the first one, sha, by itself, it's keeping its vowel sound. So by itself. But then the ka and the ra are one syllable. They're forming one syllable, meaning that what? They're sharing their vowel sound. If we had some invisible ah sounds here, we would see that this one keeps it. So it has this symbol. But guess what? The ka and the ra, it's not shakara, it's shaka. It's like shakar. So this one has to be eliminated. So these two have to be connected. Shakar. Okay? Most High in Christ. Last thing we'll do real fast. Anya, how do you say I love you? How do you write I love you in Hebrew? Get rid of malakika or malakika. Same thing. I love Yanazar Slack. Oh no. I mean, no, please. Feel free. Come on. The brother's gonna write it out. Ancient, because we're dealing with ancient right now. Ancient first and then do Assyrian afterwards. So write up here, ancient, and then below it, you can write Assyrian. Go ancient first. Write it nice and large again so everybody online can see it. So the brother is literally like, I mean, it's so tawab. It's such an excellent thing to see this because, again, this brother is writing how to say I love you in a language that is not spoken on earth today, with letters that are literally not used on earth at all. You understand? That's a very tawab thing, right? It's Anya Khan. Most High in Christ. He's going to use those connectors. That's how we form syllables. In English, syllables are formed by what? By vowels. Written vowels that tell you a vowel operates as the nucleus of a syllable. That's why in English, bad, hat, land, farm, fame, you use the vowel, the A, the O, the I, the E, the U, to form the nucleus of that. We don't do that in ancient Hebrew. Instead, we use connectors to dictate to us where the syllables stop or where they are. Better yet. Everybody. Okay. All right. Most High in Christ, the water. Get our brother in hand. That is correct. Well, let me check it out. Yeah. Hop you can. Count us the water. Right, that's correct. So you see what he did? So in order to connect to us, Anya, 2 syllables, but the ah and the na are connected. On ya, right? Then the next part, ahab yaka. Anya ahab yaka. Anya, now check it out. Now Anya, right, is a little more formal, right? And that's what I wanted to talk about. We're not gonna get too heavy into it, but before we know the what you might call the pronouns. In English, we have pronouns, right, that replace a noun. I, you, me, she, he, they, we. Okay? Now, in Hebrew, we have the same thing. To say I can say atha. I'm sorry, excuse me, Anya. To say you, I would say atha. Correct? You know what I'm saying? To say we, I would say anak nawa, right? And so on. We have more, of course. The pronouns we use generally are more formal. Now, which is why when we say I love you, we don't say a the, right? We don't say you. We're used to using a the. A the is you, but we don't use it when we say I love you because it's a very formal word. We use it when we salute each other. Hey, shalom, Yahweh, Shemiah, Shabrak, a the. Or sister, shalom, Yahweh, Shemal, a the, Shemiah, because it's formal, right? It's formal. We're not really, while we're brothers and sisters, you may not be talking to someone that you have a personal, close relationship with, right? That's the difference. That's why we don't use a the here. I'm going to use a the when I'm talking to somebody who I never met in my life. I use a the when I'm talking to brothers and sisters online. I probably never met some of these brothers and sisters. I'm like, shalom, Yahweh Shema, Allah the, right? But when you say the phrase "I love you," you know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, you're talking to someone you have a close personal relationship with. You don't have to be so formal. So you don't have to say Anya Ahab Afa. I love you. No, you're gonna say I love you, or my love is to you. Anya Ahab Yaka. Okay, this is a less formal. This ka is a less formal way of saying you, right? Or your. Okay, so that's why we say Anya Ahab Yaka as opposed to saying Anya Ahab Atha, right? It's just less formal. It's more familiar, like in a relationship. Anya Ahab Yaka, right? So like we see it written here in the ancient. Anya, this is I. Anya. Ahab is the root word for love, right? Anya, Ahab, Yaka. As we spoke before, like Malak Yaka, right? Is your, like love you or love is yours, right? Anya, Ahab, because same thing here in the Assyrian, right? Notice the brother used the ka necessary at the end of a word. All right? Most High in Christ. Now, Salakia, I feel bad we didn't get into as many of the colors and body parts as I would like to. But we did talk about some possessives and pronouns. And we definitely talked about a body part. And we talked Salakia, and we talked about some colors. Specifically black and white. Shakar, meaning black, and Laban, meaning white. All right. So Most High in Christ, man. That's what it is. If there's any questions in the room or any questions online, you can type them into the chat. Real quick before we go ahead and clip it up. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what y'all brothers and sisters got. We actually way over the time, Salakia. I didn't realize, you know what I mean? Kind. But if nothing else, if we good in the room, we good online. Hey, the water for y'all tuning in with us. You know what I'm saying? Keep checking out the class. Continue watching all the ISUPK videos. You know what I'm saying? Got so much more content for y'all brothers and sisters. But I ain't gonna take the brother shot. He gonna let y'all know what time it is with all of that. With that, I'm gonna pass the class over to priest and officer Yanazar.
Hey, Shalom Israel. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commandant General Yohana, and we're not affiliated or associated with any other Hebrew Israelite group or religion. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they're off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. That sounds like fun. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10, means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priest. Not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation. On Sunday, the 28th, we're celebrating Hanukkah. And if you can make it, but don't miss this one. It's like my favorite of all the holy convocations, aside from the Passover, of course. But this one here, man, was like an eye-opener for me, you know? And I invite everybody, please, if you can make it, please make it. That's Sunday. We're going to start at 7, right? Sunday at 7. Remind Akim and Akwathium to check on social media such as isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and material. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, brothers, Amadim,